And the people you fired, those 12 people, they were experts on Iran, were they not?
I don't believe so.
They worked in counterintelligence, did they not?
I'm taking you at your word, sir. I'm not familiar with every
You're the
single
chief
word.
director. I'm not. You should know the answer. You fired the people. Where did they work?
People were terminated for violating their ethical obligations and the high standards.
Was
that we
the ethical
have.
violations that they dealt with the case of the classified documents that were found at the bathroom in Mar-a-Lago, was that the ethical issue?
As I said earlier, all those matters are pending litigation, so I'm not going to comment on them.
They finally walked straight into it. After every hearing, every dodge, every drawn-out filibuster, after agents were fired on Halloween with their kids still standing there in costume, after all of it, 2 FBI agents have now filed a federal lawsuit naming Kash Patel and Pam directly. And this isn't some congressional hearing where they can stall behind 5-minute clocks and friendly chairs. This is federal court under oath with discovery, with depositions, with real consequences. And at the center of it is something no one in this administration wants spoken aloud in a courtroom. Political loyalty to Donald Trump is not a legal requirement to work at the FBI. Firing agents because they investigated him, that's a crime. Now here's where it gets even more serious, because Kash Patel was already asked about these exact firings in Congress, and what he said then tells you everything.
So my specific question is that there was a report that came out in February from CNN that the FBI had let go or fired dozens of agents and staff members from a counterintelligence unit tasked with monitoring Iran. And apparently the reason, at least reported in the press, was that these individuals had been involved in the investigation of classified document handling from President Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and that this was the reason why they were summarily let go. First of all, are you aware of those firings, and do you concur with the rationale or reason for those firings?
I'm aware of that, and I know there's a pendency of litigation, so I'm not able to comment on them.
Did you yourself order those firings?
The FBI, every time there is someone who violates their code of conduct or ethical standard, conducts an internal investigation with the careers there, and they present a decision point to me. The Iranian Threat Mission Center has seen an increase of 43% in arrests for Iranian spy actors. So the Iranian Threat Mission Center has never been stronger.
So I'm asking about whether those people were fired because they were involved in the investigation of the document handling by President Trump, not for any behavior issues. Is that your understanding as well?
Again, ma'am, I can't comment on them because those are in pending litigation.
I guess I'm a little stymied here, Director, because it feels as though literally when there was a possible pending war, I'm outside of this intelligence circle in many ways, even though I serve on the Intelligence Committee. You collectively must have been aware when these firings happened that there was a meaningful chance that the U.S. might be engaged with a war in Iran. And having these very expert, super qualified folks summarily dismissed at this time, it just feels like an odd choice in timing. Were you aware at the time that this was going down, that this may end up weakening the mission and the readiness of that group?
The mission, as I stated, has never been stronger when you see a 43% increase in counterintelligence arrests and 21% increase in cyber arrests against the Iranian Threat Mission Center. My focus is on providing the American people the strongest FBI as possible. I don't work on timelines. I work on evidence that's presented to me.
I guess my concern is that it feels as though, and I very much honor the tone and tenor of this hearing, that this is about making sure that that we depoliticize what is the most important thing that we all do, which is keep us safe. And it feels as though this issue is a political issue, and I just am worried that we are taking really good, really qualified people and picking fights with one another across party lines, rather than making sure that we protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe.
He says he can't comment because of pending litigation, the very lawsuit those fired agents just filed, which means he knew it was coming and still couldn't give a straight answer in Congress. And here's where this stops being just politically embarrassing and starts getting dangerous. These weren't random agents, they were counterintelligence specialists. The people whose entire job was tracking Iran, and Kash Patel fired them right before the United States moved toward war with Iran. He already knew a war was coming, he said as much under questioning, and even with that knowledge, he still removed the very agents focused on Iran. Watch what happened when lawmakers pushed Kash Patel head-on about that timeline.
Director Patel, you had a question from Dr. Jackson about the shutdown we're in now with Homeland Security, and I believe you said that this would be harmful to America because of the threat from Iran. Is that correct? Do I recall that correctly?
Generally, yes, sir.
How many days before we invaded Iran did you know we were going to launch an invasion?
We can get into those details in a classified setting, but I work with my colleagues across the spectrum here to give me advance warning so that we can reinforce.
Was it 2 days, 3 days, a month?
It was sometime before that, sir.
Sometime before that. So you had not. With that knowledge, why did you fire at least a dozen agents in Counterintelligence Unit 12 that specializes in Iran counterintelligence, which makes us much less secure and safe with this war going on from Iranian attacks potentially against our country?
As I said earlier, Congressman, I don't work on timelines when these terminations occur. There are internal investigations conducted by the careers at the FBI that highlight unethical or inappropriate conduct, and it's up to me to make the decision. But our Iran Threats Mission Center has never been more resourced, as I've highlighted, a 43% increase in counter-espionage arrests from Iran alone, and 360 ongoing terrorism investigations with Iran-affiliated
And
individuals.
the people you fired, those 12 people, they were experts on Iran, were they not?
I don't believe so.
They worked in counterintelligence, did they not?
I'm taking you at your word, sir. I'm not familiar with every
You're the
single
chief
word.
director. I'm not. You should know the answer. You fired the people. Where did they work?
People were terminated for violating their ethical obligations and the high standards that
Was the
we
ethical
have.
violations that they dealt with the case of the classified documents that were found at the bathroom in Mar-a-Lago, was that the ethical issue?
As I said earlier, all those matters are pending litigation, so I'm not going to comment on them.
The mission has never been stronger. That's the line he went back to every single time. No matter the question, fire the Iran experts right before tensions explode with Iran. The mission has never been stronger. Get hit with a lawsuit from the very agents you pushed out. The mission has never been stronger. Post the wrong murder suspect online and quietly delete it hours later. Still never been stronger. Even after writing children's books about his boss, somehow still stronger. But here's what this lawsuit actually does, and not enough people are saying it. This isn't just two fired agents blowing off steam. This is a federal complaint filed in district court, creating a permanent legal record. And that record alleges that Kash Patel and Pam carried out a systematic purge of the FBI almost immediately after Donald Trump returned to the White House. Dozens of agents removed, not for breaking laws, not for violating policy, but for working on cases connected to Trump. January 6 investigators gone. The Mar-a-Lago documents team gone. Iran counterintelligence specialists gone right before conflict with Iran escalated. And those Iran specialists weren't interchangeable bureaucrats. They were experts who spent years studying Iranian intelligence networks, how they operate, how they recruit, how they move. That kind of knowledge doesn't get replaced with a statistic. It walks out the door the moment the person holding it is fired. Now connect the dots. Pam is named in the same lawsuit. Same pattern, same court, same allegation, political retaliation. And this time, there's no hiding behind pending litigation because they are the pending litigation. No talking points, no deflections. In federal court, the only thing that matters is evidence. And according to this filing, that evidence has been building since the day those agents were fired. So here's the real question. Do either of them actually face consequences, or does Donald Trump step in before it ever gets that far?